If I had to start from zero and master client acquisition for a law firm, this is the exact roadmap that I would follow. No fluff, just a pure system. And this information comes from my experience working with law firms who are doing 25 cases a month, up to 100, 200, even 300 cases per month, doing multiple millions of dollars in revenue on a monthly basis. My name is Brandon Lewis, and here at Loudr Media, we help law firms grow and scale to 7-figure months. Okay, part one is lead generation. And when we say lead generation, we mean specifically direct response marketing. Now, people get confused about what direct response is because a lot of people think that marketing is actually what branding is, but we make a clear distinction between the two. Now, direct response marketing is talking directly to your audience, but this audience doesn't know who you are, they don't know, like, or trust you, and you have to capture their attention with an advertisement and get them to act fast. Now, direct response is going to be the quickest path in getting an ROI on your investment. So we have to ask ourselves, what do the accident victims want? You know what it is. They want money. They want to get paid quickly for their accident. So that means branding style marketing is not going to convey that message. All it's going to do is bore them and get them to scroll past or ignore your advertising. But direct response advertising is going to talk directly to their purest desire, and in this case, it's going to be getting paid. That's why with all of our clients who have such a strong desire to brand, we tell them to hold off. We're going to do branding later, but right now we need to get cases in the door. And that's an entirely different strategy than what branding is. Once you grow bigger, then we can start branding. Now, the second part of scaling your law firm with direct response marketing is volume. A lot of law firms we talk to, they say, oh, right now they get their cases from referrals. You hear that all the time. Oh, I get referrals. I have a great referral system. People are always referring us cases. But the reality is that you can't scale your law firm with referrals. It's not predictable in any way. You don't know when they're coming in, how often. You don't know what types of cases. It's just not a predictable system. But with the volume game, with direct response marketing, you can actually predict your referrals. You're just not relying on them. With direct response marketing, you can estimate how many referrals you could potentially get based on the number of cases you're actually paying to acquire. So for example, for every case that you sign, that person, if you give them a good experience, is most likely going to refer up to 3 people. Now, if you're constantly only chasing big cases, they're few and far between. So if you apply that referral rule to chasing big cases where you may be closing 1, 3, maybe 5 a year at best, then your referral multiple is going to be much lower than if you play the volume game and you're going for 50, 100, 200 cases per month, even though they're smaller cases. So let's do those numbers. If you acquire 100 cases per month, but they're the minimums. Let's call them 5K a pop. First of all, that's great monthly revenue. You're looking at around 500K of revenue a month, right? 100 cases at $5,000. That's about $6 million bucks a year. Now imagine the referral multiple on that. 100 people referring you up to 3 others. That's 300 potential referrals. And then each of those referrals can refer you up to 3 more people. And you can see how this quickly will multiply compared to 1, 2, 3, 5 cases a year in those maybe 15 maximum referrals that you're going to get. The second part of this, what we call the referral ripple effect, is that out of those 300 to 450 referrals that you're getting in the volume game, there are going to be big cases inside of those. You may not get the big cases on the front end, but the referrals are going to come from these hundreds of people that are out there who have worked with you, who love the experience that you gave them and the amazing job that you did. And that's why they're referring their friends and family. That is where those big cases are going to come from. So not only are you going to make more money every single month playing this volume game, but you are going to get way more bigger cases referred to you because we're dealing with bigger numbers. So we have direct response and we understand that we need to play the volume game. Now that we have all these leads coming in, the most important part is to be able to field these leads properly, and we call that intake, as you know. Now, this is where a lot of firms fail and where a lot of firms are losing money is in this intake process. Number one, they're slow reaching out to these leads quick enough. They're not trained to talk to these leads. And then they also do not have a follow-up system in place. We call this speed to lead, trained intake, and follow-up. Let's talk about speed to lead. We're talking 60 seconds here. Now, depending on your direct response marketing vertical that you're in or platform, you need to contact these people as soon as possible. Because the reality is that if they're filling out a form looking for an attorney to help them, chances are they're probably looking elsewhere as well. You need to get in contact with them as quickly as possible. So we're talking like under 60 seconds, 5 minutes maximum. And once you get a hold of them, what your intake team needs to realize is they're not just order takers, they're not just admin people making a simple phone call assuming that this person is just going to sign your retainer. No, this is literally sales. You have to convince this person that you are the firm that is going to help them and no one else can. So that means your intake person needs to be trained in being relatable, being empathetic, and being a guide for these individuals. You need to lead these people to the promised land. That means there is no room for confusion. There's no room for error. There's no room for wonder or anything. Step by step, connecting with this person, understanding the pain that they may be going through, making them feel that there is no other choice but to work with your law firm because you are going to get them what they want and quickly, which is getting paid. I can't even tell you how many intakes that we audited secretly where we got on the phone with these people and it was literally just like,
hello? Oh yeah, did you fill out a form? Oh sorry, this is such and such law firm. Did you go to the hospital? Oh, okay, we can't help you.
I'm not even kidding. I'll give you an example. Have you ever gone to a barber shop where you walked in, you've never been there before, and everyone's just kind of doing their thing? They might glance over at you, look at you, give you a weird look. No one talks to you, and you're standing there like, what am I supposed to do? It's awkward. It's nerve-wracking. You literally have to walk up to somebody and be like, hi, like, what is the process here? Like, who do I need to talk to? Can I get a haircut? I've been there before. It is awkward and as weird as hell. That's why when you get a barber, you never want to let that man go. But as opposed to the experience of more like a concierge where the second you walk in or the second you answer the phone, it is, hello, how you doing? Oh, good to see you. This person's gonna be up next. He's gonna be able to take care of you. Why don't you go ahead and sit down? You need some water? There's a little water station over there. We'll probably be up in maybe 15, 20 minutes. Sound good? All right, cool. Completely different experience, right? That's the same thing with this intake. If that experience isn't like that and they don't feel welcome, they don't feel like they're being helped and guided and led, then you're most likely gonna lose that lead. And they're gonna go off to somebody else who's gonna treat them better. This is why you need to treat intake like sales. It's sales, it's sales, it's sales, it's sales. It is not a lay down. These people aren't gonna sign up with you no matter what. You have to close them. That is why the last point here on intake is that incentivizing your intake team is crucial to closing and having a good closing rate. If your intake team is not incentivized, then why do they care what happens on the phone call, right? They're just clocking their hours. But if you incentivize them for every close, and they're gonna be following that script, they're gonna be doing everything they can because they know that their income is tied to closing. And then everyone's gonna be happier across the board, your firm and them, because we're all winning, and the clients. All right, now that we have your lead process in place and we have your intake process in place, you have this huge influx of business, right? What happens when all of a sudden you have a huge surge in business and you have all these new cases to handle? Fulfillment ends up becoming your next bottleneck. That becomes your next issue. How do we have the time to handle all these cases? And that's when the next stage of scaling becomes growing your firm and hiring. You're gonna need more attorneys, you're gonna need more paralegals, you're gonna need more admins, you're gonna need more intake people, right? You need to end up growing your firm to be able to handle this new business. That's when you, as the law firm owner, needs to shift from being an attorney and working on casework to being a business owner and growing the business. As you've heard before, the saying, working on the business instead of working in the business. Instead of being in the day-to-day, your main focus is the big picture vision. How are we gonna grow? What other areas and sectors are we gonna get into? The big picture, which is focused on leadership and growth. Then eventually you're gonna grow your firm into the higher 7, even 8 figures to the point where now you're gonna be able to switch your marketing mix from being primarily direct response and just a little bit of branding to mostly branding and a smaller percentage of your revenue going towards direct response. But that's not until you get into the higher numbers, because until then, you're not known well enough. Branding takes years. You're not known well enough to have your branding actually carry your sale. Right now, we need to focus on direct response and have paid advertising carry your sales. That is predictable. So to recap, we have lead generation, we have intake, and we have fulfillment. Those are the 3 key areas of growing your firm to a high 7, 8 figure firm, which is going to take you into the stratosphere and allow you to start actually acquiring some market share in your area. So if you're ready to stop playing small and you're ready to actually scale your law firm properly, then click the link in the description and book a call with our team here at Loudr Media. And if you really like this video and you found it helpful and you want to see more, then click the subscribe button, like, and even comment on this video if you have any more questions, and we'll see you on the next one.